It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. It's round 5 of 9 for 2025. It's MotoAmerica Superbike Speed Fest at Monterey, presented by Law Tigers from WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in Monterey, as we set the stage for Supersport race number 1. And yeah, it's California and the sun is shining, and we're so excited to be able to bring you this Supersport event. Welcome everyone to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now Jason, we're really close to the midway point of this season. However, right now it's been a two-horse race for the championship.
Yeah, it's very similar to last year, isn't it? We saw these same two guys, Matthew Skoltz, who's on a different motorcycle this year on the Yamaha R9. He is defending that championship against the guy he raced with last year. You see PJ Jacobsen here on the right-hand side of our screen. This was at Road Atlanta, where he was able to get by Jake Lewis late in this race. Jake led that race for a long time. That was the first race of the year, and it turned out being the first win for PJ Jacobsen. Then we went on to Road America. This is another place where PJ and Matthew battled all the way down. Matt took a shot down there in the chicane. He wasn't able to make the pass for the lead and stay on the track, as you see him finishing third here with Ty Scott jammed in between. Now the other guy that we've been talking about here, Matthew Skoltz, 4 wins on the year. And when you look back here, you see Ty Scott was an early challenger in race 1 at the Ridge. Matthew would come across and win that race. And Greg, the next day he would go out and do the exact same thing. As you could see, PJ ended up second that day. The second day, it was a lot of the same kind of thing. PJ Jacobsen chasing Matthew Skoltz home. Trimmed that championship lead from 20 that PJ had going in there down to 10. Matthew Skoltz is on a roll right now.
Yeah, but the way this championship works out currently, you have PJ at 166 with 2 wins, but you could see the 10-point deficit to Skoltz. But those 4 wins have kept him in the show, but PJ's 8 podiums allow him to get on top in this points championship race. But it is a beautiful day to race motorcycles on the racetrack, and the third member of our broadcast team is down on the grid right now, Jamie Howe.
Thanks, Greg. It certainly is a beautiful day. You talk about the consistency from PJ Jacobsen. 8 podium finishes through the first 8 races with a lead in the championship hunt. Also on pole for this very first time here this season. PJ, the job now is to go out to turn number 1, still leading the field. How do you take advantage of the performance you had in qualifying?
Yeah, it's probably going to be like a dogfight of a race. So, yeah, just looking forward to it. But my main focus is try to get a good start and then basically go from there. It's a long race, and just, yeah, we'll see what happens in this race. But I feel pretty good and confident.
Halfway point of this Motovation Supersport Championship. A lot on the line. PJ Jacobsen wanting to get a race win today. Alongside him on road number 1 with his best qualifying effort of the season so far, Blake Davis just steadily finding some pace weekend after weekend. You've really picked it up here this weekend, out qualifying your teammate for the first time as well. What motivation do you have going into race start?
Yeah, I mean, I love this track out here at Laguna. It's amazing, and the bike was just set up perfectly. So, yeah, good qualifying always helps, and these R9s just get off the line so good. We have a pretty good plan. Let's get out front. Let's see what we can do. I think we have a pretty good shot at winning this race. I feel like I can do consistent lap times and be up front the whole time.
The plan is one thing, execution is another. It's time to do that now, Greg.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the trickiness of WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. This racetrack will throw a ton of stuff at each racer. It's 2.2 miles long. And Jason Pridmore, why don't we have a look from overhead at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca?
Well, it's just world famous. You talk to people in Europe, they all want to come to Laguna. It's a fast turn 1, Greg, into almost a double apex turn 2. 3 and 4 are flat corners. 2 of the 3 flat corners that we have here, because by the time you get to 5 and 6, you're heading up to that famous corkscrew in 7-8. A lot of fans up on top of the hill today as we rip down through Rainy Curve in turn 9 into a banked turn 10, and then their third flat corner, turn 11, where there's been a lot of stuff happen there in turn 11 over the years, Greg, and then it's a long run to the start-finish line from there.
And this racetrack, the top 5 in qualifying were all within half a second of each other. This guy right here, Ty Scott, is on road number 2, and he's looking to make some big moves today. What's he going to do? Race start in a couple minutes.
Motovation Supersport is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. By Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers. By NXT Bets, play MotoAmerica for cash. Multiple race classes live on top sports books and DFS platforms all season long. and by Motovation, the most trusted online resource for premium motorcycle parts and accessories delivered right to your door. Find your motivation at motivationusa.com.
Welcome back. Motovation Supersport race number 1 here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in Monterey, California. 17 laps scheduled in this race as riders are on the grid right now to start their warm-up lap. But hey, you know you can play MotoAmerica for cash. The Superbike Baggers and Supersport Series are now live on top sportbooks and DFS platforms. Scan the flow code or visit nxtbets.com/PlayMA to see what's available in your location. Sign up and claim exclusive bonuses and make your picks now. All right, Jason Pridmore, what are you expecting to see if you're a rider on this warm-up lap?
Well, the warm-up lap, first off, I don't know how many guys that have never been here before. It's a little unique here at Laguna because it kind of goes uphill. So you got to be careful with your clutch here as far as the release goes and things because it's really easy to slip it too much and that kind of thing. Turn 2 is really interesting also when you come up over the top of the rise at the start. You can get a bunch of guys bunching up on the inside, so it gives you some opportunities. More importantly, Greg, we're not going to have a problem with this today, but this is your last chance to really get your tires up to that operating temperature that you want. And we've had a beautiful morning here. It's been typical Northern California where it was foggy. We had a delay this morning because of the fog and kind of the misty air that we had. But you can see what it's done now. It's beautiful.
Well, yesterday and earlier today, we had our 2 qualifying sessions that set our starting grid. And PJ Jacobsen with a 126.390 able to eke out pole position over Blake Davis.
Yeah, Blake Davis and Matthew Skoltz on the Strack bikes there, 2nd and 3rd. Then you have Ty Scott, Cam Peterson, and Kayla Yakov, who just continues to impress this year. She's really made a step. Gerardo, good to see Max back. Teague Hobbs next to him, Max Van. Aiden Sneed doing a really good job on that MV Agusta next to Corey Alexander and Josh Hayes. Then we got Dave Anthony Collins, Black, Enriquez, De Silva, and Owen Williams, who's going to be rounding out row number 6. Mags, Omen, Cohen, Zaragoza, Ricci, and Jeff Bean back there on row 8. And I believe that's our field, Greg.
4 manufacturers, JP, Ducati, Yamaha, Suzuki, and MV Agusta in the top 10 in qualifying. This is part of the next generation Supersport that arrived on the scene here in MotoAmerica just a couple of years ago. Vastly different engine configurations. Most of these motorcycles are controlled down to an equal playing field, except this bike right here, the Yamaha R9, brand new for this year. That bike is actually built up to meet the horsepower and torque specs, but they have had tremendous success on this entire Strack Racing team with this brand new motorcycle sold in your dealerships.
It's going to be interesting to see how this works out, because I talked to a few of the people in the front. They all feel like they can kind of get away, and they all feel like they can do that qualifying pace. So we'll see how that works out.
Here we go. The grid is set. We're ready for 17 laps in Motovation Supersport race number 1. Revs are up. And away we go. Looks like a good launch from our pole sitter, PJ Jacobsen, initially. He's on the outside trying to swing back to the inside. It gets really tight down here at the bottom in turn number 2. And it is the 15 of PJ Jacobsen with a good launch. And then it's a Strack Racing Yamaha R9. Oh, and a little bit of bump and grind there up the inside.
Josh Hayes and Cam Peterson got together, Greg, and it caused a little bit of turmoil midfield there. So Josh Hayes, coming from a long way back, hasn't had the greatest weekend, but he does what he does. He gets a good launch, gets a good start, and I think he's got himself probably worked into the top 10 by now.
Towards the front of that field, that was Blake Davis on the 22, who nudged his way past Tyler Scott on that Vision Wheel M4 X-Star Suzuki. So Matthew Skoltz, the number 1. He didn't have the ripper of a lap in qualifying, but Jay on the front row doing a solid 126.466. It looks like he's super comfortable at the moment on this first lap, following the number 15, PJ Jacobsen, on that Ray Hall Ducati Moto with Expel.
Yeah, it's perfect. And you look back, I saw Josh roll around the outside. Look at Aiden Sneed trying to get racy there with Corey Alexander at the top as well. Josh rode around the outside of Corey in turn 5, so he's continuing his march forward. It's our front row, Greg, like you say, though, up at the front at the moment. And really, it's those two guys setting the pace. Blake Davis, I know, feels like he has the pace to run with these guys all day.
There's a pass for the lead
shot right there.
So, nice move by Skoltz to occupy the inside part of the racetrack, forcing PJ a little bit wide. So when we come across the stripe right now, it's going to be Matthew Skoltz with the lead for the moment, but PJ goes up the inside. Now it's about the real estate, down into the double apex turn 2.
Can he get a stop? He couldn't get a stop, Greg. Got to remember, full fuel load at the moment for these guys. So PJ got in there hot. He's going to cut it back underneath Matthew as they go to turn 3, and he's just going to beat Matthew to the apex of that corner. Trying to control speed. Matthew almost gets shot up over the front. He was trying to square it back up underneath PJ, got on the gas, got that R9 sideways, Greg, and again, gets that thing saved, though.
All that control was with the right wrist of Matthew Skoltz. All that talent on shine for you at the moment, but PJ forced him to get that done. So even though Skoltz is credited with lap 1 lead, it's all about this rider, 15, PJ Jacobsen, looking for his 3rd win of the season. And right there to collect the pieces was Blake Davis.
I really feel that Blake is going to want to take a shot as quick as he can, and you're going to see this here. Matthew gets the bike tight. PJ's already tight going into 11. Matthew turns that up underneath him, though, and is able to make that pass. Both their speeds were compromised up that front straightaway. Because of that, PJ then could turn it underneath Matt going into 2. He's going to run a little bit wide. PJ's going to square this corner up and watch him take a direct straight line. See how tight he is there, Greg? Now he's trying to control that speed. Matthew wants to turn it back underneath him, gets on that power a little bit early on the R9, and was able to get it saved.
Blake Davis in turn number 11 with a pass up the inside on PJ Jacobsen. So now Strack Racing takes over again, but Blake looks over his left shoulder and he sees a full yellow motorcycle of the Ducati Panigale V2. And there goes PJ sideways, that dirt track background, trying to pay dividends, but Blake has none of it. He forces him out of the way.
And Blake right now, he's got to keep it tight because PJ is going to try to do the same thing. He's not going to make it this time. So you can see PJ got the bike spinning a little bit out of turn 2. Blake Davis right now riding with a lot of confidence, Greg. We've seen him win this year already. And the 22 feels like he has some really good pace. I talked to team owner Peter Strack during the lunchtime, and he's very impressed with this young man right now, and Blake told him he feels he can do 25s.
Jamie, what do you have on Blake Davis?
Just talking with his crew chief coming into the race today, and you know, one of the great benefits for Blake Davis is the fact that he does have a rider with some experience making the calls on that bike, of course being Xavi Flores. And for the two of them, what they worked on coming in was the riding position. So if you look at Blake on the bike, he's in a different position than what we've seen him in early on in the season. His seat is a little bit lower, his bars are a little bit higher, and what that's allowed him to do is transfer the weight of that Yamaha, and he's feeling more and more comfortable on the bike each session this weekend, but he's certainly going to make a run for it today.
That's an important point too. The success of this new Yamaha, as obviously Matthew Skoltz has caught PJ Jacobsen, but the success of this brand new motorcycle, you got to credit all the riders in the field that are on these Yamahas developing them, especially the Strack Racing team. And so this is going to continue on with this motorcycle as the years go by with the Yamaha R9, but to really have so much success early on is impressive in this next generation Motovation Supersport class.
It really is, and when you get a young guy like Blake, who's the second year, I think, on Supersport, he jumped off the R6, jumped on the R9, but I think he's really comfortable with the team, and he's really comfortable with his teammate, and he's seen what his teammate can do. When you have a young kid that's hungry, he basically looks at Matthew and says, I want to be able to do what he does, and I can do what he does, and he's just chipping away, and you can see what it's doing. These three now are pulling away. Let's give a shout out here. We see Ty Scott, but how about Max Girardo? Jarrett Nassini isn't with us this weekend on the Altus bike, and it looks like Max has just picked up and gone right where he needs to go. Top 5. We've seen Max Girardo a number of times. Oh, who's off there? Is that
Josh Hayes?
Is that Josh Hayes? Man, Josh just rode that.
He just saved it?
Yeah, I think he did.
Oh, no, it's not Josh Hayes. Teague Hobbs.
What a safety. We had a 50-50 chance there. The bikes look so alike. But Teague Hobbs does a nice job. But look at Ty Scott and Girardo. Both those guys 4th and 5th. And really impressed to see Max doing what he's doing. A little further back behind them, you're going to have Cam Peterson and Corey Alexander back there. Josh Hayes behind these guys as well. So you can see there's a big group there. Hayes with Kayla and Aiden Sneed will be the last of those. That'll be the top 10 now. And here you go, Greg. You got Cam Peterson, Corey Alexander, Hayes, Kayla, and Aiden Sneed, who's on that MV. It says Kayla takes a shot at Josh going up over the top of turn 1, and she's going to take that spot away.
That's been a favorite passing spot of Kayla's for the entire time she's been coming to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So great on the brakes. There's the 98 of Aiden Sneed. In a very interesting race tale, the owner of Aiden Sneed's team is the wife of the racer in front of Aiden Sneed, Josh Hayes.
Yes.
Hayes racing for a different team, the BPR team. But to Ty Scott and the Vision Wheel M4XR Suzuki. That's a GSXR 750 going up against Max Girardo in the Altus GSXR 750. And Cameron Peterson sets the fastest lap of the race. The number 45 machine is on the charge on that Celtic Economy Lube Plus tire, Warhorse HSBK Ducati Panigale V2. Look at the red bike, red leathers, 45. He's on a tear. Jason, he had the fastest lap of the race. Then Blake Davis had it. And now Cameron Peterson in traffic, trying to get around other riders, has done it again. He's on the charge.
Making a straight line. I love that from Cam. So obviously it's a really poor start from Cam Peterson to this race as he's trying to find a way to get by Girardo. He wants to try to get by him down here into turn 11, but Girardo's taking a shot at Ty Scott. Cam P is going to follow him right through, so it's a 2-for-1. Ty Scott gets passed by both of those guys.
That was a beautiful move by Max Girardo as well as Cameron Peterson. Now Blake Davis goes 27.040 out front, fastest lap of the race, 0.3 seconds behind. But Cameron Peterson and Max Girardo, 27 flat, 27.6, and Ty Scott, 27.7. Just behind them is Corey Alexander, Yakov, Hayes, and then Aiden Sneed in the top 10 as well. What a group we have.
What a group. I mean, this is some good stuff from Girardo, but like I was saying, Cam just got a horrible start. I watched it out the window, didn't get the start he wanted, but man, he's putting down some lap times. So if he could try to clear Girardo, he's still got 11 or 12 laps to go. And like we know, if those guys at all, Greg, get engaged at the front, then there could be some things. Jamie.
Talking about Cameron Peterson, especially as we get to the second half of this race, keep an eye on his lap times continuing to possibly improve. A lot of changes were made overnight, specifically to the geometry of that number 45 Ducati, because yesterday the qualifying session at the end of the day, grip was at a premium, and so the team has really done a lot of work to get that bike set up and to compensate for some of that. Cam came into this race with a ton of confidence, specifically for the run to the checkered flag, so watch him continue to move up.
Yeah, Cam Peterson doing double duty as well as our Mission King of the Baggers, and he had an incident yesterday, and I went to talk to him after that incident, and he said he was totally fine. It was just over the curb and the bike went down. He said, but the weird thing is that when he races this Ducati, it's so good over the bumps on the paint that he was having so much fun yesterday that it just caught him out on the other machine. But Cameron Peterson on the charge, a rider who's already been on the podium this season. And you can see just off in the distance, Josh Hayes, Aiden Sneed, just losing touch with the group in front of him that's made up of Yakov, Corey Alexander, Ty Scott, and Maxi Girardo.
Yeah, he's doing, these guys right now, Josh and Aiden both are doing what they can to stay on the back here. Kayla is also just running the risk right now of losing the tail end, but she's going to just keep charging in there. This is a big battle, like we say, for fourth. And there's a couple people here, Greg, like Aiden, that we haven't seen before battle this far up. And, you know, Josh Hayes trains with Aiden Sneed. They're pedaling all the time together. So I'm sure, like you said, there's going to be some conflict for Melissa down there at the moment, seeing her bike right behind her husband.
No, I don't think so.
No.
She's rooting for her team, her rider. Yeah, it's going to be tough down there for Melissa Paris, who runs this program, as well as a rider in the Talent Cup class. All right, so to the 19 we go. You can see Kayla Yakov having a good run here on the Rahal Ducati Moto with Expel in her second season on this machine. And Yakov had a better qualifying, and it seems, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that Kayla's been able to make a step. The step is more on the one-off lap times that she's been able to do, and now taking that and converting it into more race distance type laps is what the team is working on in the second half of the season.
Yeah, and Kayla has been so good on Fridays. I talked to Ben Spies earlier today, as did you, and Ben was saying how impressed he's been with her on Fridays. Richie Alexander saying the same thing down there about Kayla. They've been really impressed with the step that she has made, and that's the progression that you expect from a young rider like that, and she'll just continue to improve, Greg. These three right now locked in battle. People might have been wondering what's going on with these three. They've just been kind of line astern, kind of figuring things out for Matthew. This is exactly the pace that he felt he could run.
Let's give you an update. So up front, these three, 27-0, 27-1, 27-1. Fastest lap of the race just run by Cameron Peterson in fourth at a 127.0. But he's 3.8 seconds behind the leader, 3.2 seconds behind Matthew Skoltz. We have 9.5 laps to go for Cameron Peterson. There he is in the distance to number 45. But he's going to need these three riders to start messing around and drop their lap times, or else there's just too much real estate between himself and a podium.
Well, I mean, Greg, if I was a betting guy, and we know I'm not, but if I was, I would definitely think to myself that these guys are going to engage at some point, and there's going to be some, I mean, with Matthew in third, you know he's going to try everything he can to win this race. So this is why Cam's got to keep his head down, keep with these consistent laps. When these guys start dropping maybe a half a second off and Cam starts to see that chunk of time coming back at him, that's going to give him the hunger a little bit more to get in there.
So Cameron Peterson now comes across the stripe. He got a half a second back and goes 26.828 for Cameron Peterson. He is flying. Now, Jay, we know from our history with Motovation Supersport that we're in the part of the race right now with 9 laps to go where we don't expect to see much fireworks from the three up front. It's when we get to the 5 laps to go, 4 laps to go, when they're going to really see who's got the tire, who's got the pace late in this race. So this might be the opportunity. And by the way, 27.3, 27.2, 27.3. So that half a second was made up on that. The question is, Cameron Peterson, can he maintain this for like 8 laps to catch him? That's going to be a tall tale.
Well, the thing is Cam didn't get the best start, and then he got bumped in turn 2 by Josh. Josh was coming down the inside of him, and there was a couple riders to the right of Cam, so he couldn't really go anywhere. And so there was some contact down in turn 2. Cam's going to be kicking himself, though, and apologizing, I'm sure, to his team about knowing that he's got the best bike and the best times out there at the moment, but he's just got to keep going. We still have 9 to go, Greg. That's a lot of time in a race, even though sometimes when you're on the seat, it doesn't seem like you have enough time, but he's just got to keep hitting what he's doing. The veteran of the sport here now is the 45, and he's just got to keep his head down. I'm looking on our splits, and right now, he hasn't really gained a lot on this lap compared to the lap prior.
Right there is where the start-finish line is. That's where the checkered flag is going to fly. Blake Davis credited with the lead on this lap at a 27 flat. So all of a sudden, though, Jay, P.J. Jacobson and Matthew Skoltz, they go their fastest laps of the race for them personally. Another look at Cameron Peterson on the left side of your screen as Cameron Peterson able to go 27 flat to match it.
Yeah, I love seeing that slow-mo shot of them coming up over the corkscrew. If you've never been here before, Greg, and you go stand there for the first time, it's a little intimidating, especially if you're getting ready to ride the track. On a track walk you might go. It's very steep, but man, Cam's sure to make it look good and easy there.
Let me ask you something about Blake Davis, Strack Racing Yamaha R9. The 2 riders behind him are locked in a championship battle. If you're Blake Davis, do you care?
Blake Davis does not care. Blake Davis is out for a win here on his own. He's going to be getting aboard. Cam this time, fastest second split. It visibly looked closer that time as Cam that time went through at a 27 flat, very similar to the leaders. But this right now, he's already gained almost a half a second on this lap, has Cam Peterson, Greg.
My goodness.
So, and he's the only guy in the 19-second range in the third split. Cam Peterson right now has made up some ground, but man, 8 to go, it might be a little bit too late. But Blake Davis right now, Greg, to your point, he's out for race wins. He's going to let Matthew and PJ do their thing.
if you're a rider of a motorcycle like the Ducati Panigale V4, the larger motorcycles that are available in like the superbike category, you may be familiar with aids like traction control, things like that. These bikes are not equipped with any of that. So Cameron Peterson just goes fastest lap of the race again.
Unreal.
1:26.555, some 0.7 of a second quicker than the front two and a half a second quicker than Schultz, who just went his fastest lap of the race at a 27 flat. So the question becomes, is this the perfect conditions? The sun is shining here, the wind is blowing, the temperature is right for these Dunlop tires. Is Cameron Peterson, if he can even catch this group, he's only 2.1 seconds now behind Schultz. If he can catch him, is he going to have enough underneath him, enough rubber on those Dunlop tires to fight for this podium?
I definitely think he will. When you get, as a rider, when you get into the pace and you get into kind of this zone that Cam P is in at the moment, you're not really, everything just feels tight, everything feels good. You're seeing the three fastest riders up ahead of you coming back towards you, and it just gives you that little bit of a spurt, a little bit more energy. And right now his bike looks really good. It looks on rails as it heads down into Rainy Corner, and you can see there's been a couple little separations here. Not sure if Matthew made a small mistake. Cam P now is getting into the shot, Greg, and he's on an even faster lap right now than he was the time before. This could be a very low 26 for the number 45 of Cam Peterson. Really amazing ride so far.
Boy, Jason, one thing we know about this class is that some of the lap records have held on for a lot of years in terms of race lap records. I'm going to cast your mind back to 2017. A young rider named Garrett Gerloff, his fastest race lap record was a 1:26 flat. Cameron Peterson only half a second off.
Amazing.
As we head back now to Corey Alexander. So the number 23 rider, Corey Alexander, on the Rahal Ducati Moto with roller die informing, has gotten around Maxi Girardo on the Altus Motorsport Suzuki. So Corey Alexander now trying to put some distance between himself. That is for 5th place. And this is what Corey Alexander has needed. Jason, to say that Corey has had an up and down season across the board is an understatement.
Man, I'll tell you, it is such a bummer to see what Corey's gone through this year. Honestly, a lot of bad luck. This is going to do his head a lot of good. He's up there racing with guys that he knows he should be racing with week in and week out. He's battled injuries. He's had all kinds of crazy little things happen as Girardo looks like he wants to take a shot at Corey Alexander. Jamie?
This battle continuing between the two of them for sure, but Corey Alexander, as the team put his, seemingly had a dark cloud looming over him all season long, but remember he did finish inside of the top 5 back in that final race at the Ridge Motorsports Park, and they really feel like as an organization that was a turning point. He came here into WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca with that motivation, with that momentum from that result, just looking to put his head down, put the rest of the season behind him, and only go forward.
And I'll tell you what, he's doing a great job, but Maxi Girardo just went full send into the corkscrew and made it stick and got some bike lengths between them. What, that was insane.
I was waiting for you to use the Narnia thing again.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
no.
But yeah, as Ty Scott now looks like he wants to take a shot at Corey Alexander down into turn 2. Isn't quite able to make that. But now you've got this big group again as Josh Hayes has closed back up onto the back of them, and he's brought Aiden Sneed with him, and Kayla just there off the back as well. But boy, Girardo got in there. Not only did he get in there deep, he was so incredibly tight. I was worried about him making that corner, but he's making that R9 work, Greg, and I don't even think that he has seen that bike until probably this weekend. I'm not sure if he's tested. Just look how tight he is. He's tight and deep into there, Greg, and he gets the bike in there, turned, and doesn't compromise too much. The right-hander here was a little bit trickier, but he did a really good job.
Altus Motorsports, Yamaha R9, a switch for them during the offseason, and they're working on developing that bike, and Maxi Girardo is showing that Altus Motorsports is dialed in with that Yamaha. Now it's up to Corey Alexander to hold off the advances of the 70, and here comes the Vision Wheel M4XR Suzuki rider, and Ty Scott not able to do what Maxi Girardo was able to do a lap ago.
I was just thinking the same thing, and now Ty Scott better watch out because the number 4 will not need a second invitation. Expect Josh, if he can get through this one okay, to take a shot at Ty Scott in turn 11. Let's see if he's close enough. The number 4 has a look, can't quite get there. So look at the speed that Aiden Sneed had through the middle of turn 11.
Wow. This battle for 5th place, a Yamaha, Ducati, Suzuki, Yamaha, and MV Agusta. It looks like World Supersport racing right now. It's so close for 5th place. All the while up front, the lead hasn't changed. It's still Blake Davis, PJ Jacobsen, Skoltz, and Cameron Peterson's march towards the front has stalled out for the moment.
Yeah, 28.2 that last time through for Cam Peterson. So obviously there might have been a mistake made somewhere, because his split times in the first split are strong again on this lap. To your point, Greg, maybe he did just use up those tires a little bit more than he could. But we've also seen a couple of back markers as well move out of the way. But again, Blake Davis just doing a solid job up at the front, isn't he?
He certainly is. The rhythm of Motovation Supersport. We're at 3.5 laps to go, and Blake Davis is trying to pull the pin, Jamie.
And that really started in that first practice session on Friday. When you go back to the track time that was available to these riders through practice and the 2 qualifying sessions, Blake Davis and Xavi Flores, the two of them working together, took advantage of that, and he did race pace runs on every set of tires, meaning they did 17 laps at least on each set of tires they put on that bike, just to make sure that when they got to this racetrack that they knew what they had. As Matthew Skoltz now makes that move around PJ Jacobsen, this one continuing to heat up, but Blake Davis at the front should be good to go to the checker.
Well, Jamie, you knew it was coming, right? I mean, Matthew Skoltz, he wasn't just going to sit there all day, and for sure, the number one thing is he's got to beat PJ to claw back at these points. As he runs really wide, he's going to let PJ back through, but Matthew should be able to square this up a little bit. Let's see if he tries the same move that PJ tried on him earlier, and that's exactly what happens. Now PJ might be able to square him up, Greg. I don't think he's going to get close enough. We'll see.
Look at the shadows on the track. That's a good indicator.
He does. And then what's...
Yo!
Man.
Wow.
And what's this allowing? It's allowing the number 22 to disappear. This is where Cam Peterson needed to just be a little bit closer to these guys, because you knew it was going to happen, where these guys were going to be fighting with each other.
It's not for the win, but this is the battle for the championship between these two, and that has allowed Cameron Peterson to eke into the frame. He's just off there, but we have 2.5 laps to go. Look how close they're racing. To the top of the corkscrew we go. Skoltz has position.
To do that there, PJ was taking some big chances to go down the outside, and you can see it's going to cost him a little bit as he has a look over his shoulder. Who's there?
Cameron Peterson.
Cameron Peterson is there. So right now, like that little thing where with Matthew, PJ's got to do everything he can now to not hemorrhage any more points. There's 3 to go, and right now it looks like Blake Davis, what a lap this has been between the two guys that we've been watching fight for 2 years now. You see PJ has to get that knee up to not have Matthew touch it. So there's a pass there right off the bat in turn 11. Then Matthew's going to run wide down into turn 2. PJ would go back underneath him. Matt would go underneath him in 3. And then PJ would return the favor in turn 4. And look at this. Matthew's trying to get that bike upright and using up every last little bit of track, as PJ's already on the paint. There's nowhere else for PJ to go there. So now PJ's got to try to claw back and get on the back of the number 1, Matthew Skoltz.
So now we get to see if Cameron Peterson has anything left underneath him and left in the tank. We got a couple situations going on here with the 45. You're talking about Celtic, Economy Lube, Plus Tire, Warhorse, HSBK Racing, Ducati, Panigale V2 versus Ray Hall Ducati Moto with Expel. Rival Ducati teams. Not to mention the fact that if Cameron Peterson can latch onto the back of PJ Jacobsen, hey, Matthew Skoltz and PJ and Cameron Peterson, they're countrymen from South Africa.
Yeah.
And if Cameron Peterson, they know each other well. They're very friendly. If Cameron Peterson has anything to say in the championship, the difference between 3rd place and 4th place is 3 points. That would be 3 extra points for Matthew Skoltz in this championship. So I'm sure Cameron Peterson wants to reward his team for all the hard work with a podium, but there also might be that little extra bit of motivation knowing that he might be able to help out his friend Matthew Skoltz.
The best thing right now Blake could do is look at that pit board and see +1 or more. He's going to be able to run a normal line lap, and by that I mean, Greg, he's going to be able to open up these turns and carry his corner speeds. He doesn't have to be defensive. He was a little defensive going into turn 11 that lap, and made me wonder if maybe he didn't know the lead that he had. So let's just continue to see as Blake is cleared off. Matthew is now cleared off from PJ. It looks like that's going to be pretty safe. But how about this young man, Greg? This will be his 2nd win of the year, I believe it would be. And he's done it in style. You see him protecting the left side of the track. Even when you see that +1 on your board, in your brain, +1 seems like 0.1. And so you get a little bit to where you feel like you have to protect things. And this is a big win for this team if these guys bring it home first, second.
Oh, yeah, that'd be huge. And Blake Davis, by the way, he's working lap 17, but back on lap 15, was able to pull off his fastest lap of the race at a 1:26.930, showing how good Strack Racing has the Yamaha R9 working with these Dunlop tires in its first season. Down through Rainey he goes, just a couple corners left for Blake Davis. This young man has been touted as Yamaha's bright future, and it's taken a couple races at the beginning of the season for him to get himself sorted out with this team. But now, as he goes into turn 11, he'll squeeze the throttle. Onto the front straightaway he goes, and victory is going to go to Blake Davis on his Strack Racing Yamaha R9, just ahead of his teammate, Matthew Skoltz. PJ Jacobsen in third, Cameron Peterson in fourth, and there goes Aiden Sneed. He just lost the front going into 11 and saved it. But now he's got to squeeze the throttle, and to the line they go. Gerardo and Corey Alexander, and Aiden Sneed's going to hold on to his best finish in Supersport, 7th place over Hayes, Ty Scott, and Kayla Yakov. Get to know the 98, Aiden Sneed. This is his coming out party as he is in an elite front group of riders. But 22 Blake Davis, what a race for him. From second on the grid, and he was not going to take second. Jay, the impressive thing about this young man is that he put all the pressure on himself. He led with PJ right on his tailpipe and Skoltz right there as well, and it didn't look like he flinched at all.
Not at all. Wheelie game is strong too.
Yeah, wheelie game is strong. Oh, wow, and he's able to modulate the throttle up the hill. We're going to step away. When we come back, Jamie's going to have a chat with Blake Davis and find out how he was able to manage all that pressure to win this one.
Hey, come here. Great fucking job. Good job. That's right, brother. Let's go! Yes, I told you. I told you. Right. Awesome race. Awesome race. I got blonde. I got blonde.
Motovation Supersport is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. By Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers. By NXT Bets, play MotoAmerica for cash. Multiple race classes live on top sports books and DFS platforms all season long. And by Motovation, the most trusted online resource for premium motorcycle parts and accessories delivered right to your door. Find your motivation at motivationusa.com.
Welcome back, Motovation Supersport, race number 1 in the books. There were so many incredible races all over the racetrack, but as we focus on these top 3, Blake Davis, what an impressive ride and just a mature ride across the board. Matthew Skoltz ends up second and PJ Jacobsen in third. After one of these races, we'll look back on this epic battle that they had midway through the season. And Cameron Peterson was in 4th place on what was an incredible, incredible push. But let's get down to Jamie, who's in winner's circle.
5th podium result of the season, 2nd win for Blake Davis. For Strack Racing, it is their very first professional 1-2 finish. A lot to talk about here, but you were able to manage that pressure. You told us on the grid you had a plan to be able to win. You went out and executed it. How did you do it?
Yeah, I mean, the team just gave me so much confidence in this bike. It felt amazing the whole race. Really all weekend, it's been, I feel like we had one of the top bikes out here. It handles so good. Even we got a little bit of weight added on to us, and we still feel really good on it. So, yeah, I mean, the team's done an amazing job. We got out front early and led the whole race. I was really happy with that. I've never really done that in a MotoAmerica race before. So, yeah, I mean, just Strack Racing, Yamaha, KYT, Dainese. I'm drawing a blank right now. Akrapovic, just everybody that's helped me out. I know I'm forgetting a ton. Jess and Peter, they've done everything for us, and my dad, Kevin, just everyone that's put something into this program. It's been amazing, and thank y'all so much.
Congratulations on that victory, the 2nd one of the season. We'll certainly be talking about this young rider a lot more as this racing series continues. Moving over to 2nd place with Matthew Skoltz. On the cool-down lap, there was a shot of you, Matthew. We saw you beating your chest, celebrating the 2nd place finish for you. That was a heated battle between yourself and PJ Jacobsen. Why was this one so rewarding?
Well, I mean, it was pretty obvious from the first lap that both of us weren't too worried about coming first. We were more worried about the championship battle, about beating each other. Yeah, we had a couple corners. We went backwards and forwards. I think it was a pretty fair fight. And once I got past PJ, got a clear circuit, I felt like I had a little bit more pace, close up on Blake. But overall, I'm just really happy that I brought it home in 2nd place. I had a few huge moments, almost crashed on the 2nd lap, or broke the windshield of the bike. But overall, clawed some more points back in the championship, and very happy. And well done to my teammate Blake. He's going to be trouble for me in the future, that's for sure. But overall, I'm really happy for the Strack Racing team to go 1-2. Thank you, guys.
The push continues. It's all about those championship points.
And it is all about these championship points as we look at Matthew Skoltz and his victory in the championship. So now it's only 6 points the difference as we head off to Motovation Supersport race number 2. Well, that's going to do it for us from WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for today. Make sure you join us for Motovation Supersport race number 2. It is going to be a banger. Jamie, Jason, I'm Greg. We'll see you then.
I told you.